It's Noah Kim here with Sport AI, here to bring you Week 8's fantasy football sleepers, breakout stars, duds, and MVP. Without further ado, let's get started. These fantasy sleepers, we want to make sure that we are highlighting players that are on that waiver wire, may be underrated. You can get them for a low asking price on trades, but it's going to be someone that you may not expect, someone that's gotten a lot of heat. Number one sleeper, Jimmy Garoppolo, San Francisco 49ers. Why is Jimmy Garoppolo our sleeper pick? Beyond the fact that Sport AI's artificial intelligence had him with a very high score plus and a trending player. Couple things. Yes, he's gotten a lot of injuries on that running back core. Mostert's still out, Tevin Coleman out, and now Wilson out. But Jerry McKinnon was resting last week. Jermichael Hasty also proved that he can be a great, valuable asset. And more importantly, both those backs very good in the passing game. So you have the short options opened. And more importantly for the receivers, again, very interestingly enough, even though you have Deebo Samuel injured, you do have Kendrick Bourne on that outside as well as Brendan Ayuk. You see them put a lot of jet sweep to much success. Right now, they're really trying to cater that offense to Jimmy Garoppolo. He's a guy that's definitely on a lot of people's waivers. A lot of people may be scared about him, but great matchup this week. No problems here on that end. Jimmy Garoppolo. Our other sleeper pick for this week, we obviously mentioned the San Francisco 49ers running back pair, but we also have someone very interestingly from the Chicago Bears, Darnell Mooney. Darnell Mooney led last week all receivers for the Bears in targets, receptions, and red zone targets. You know, they have the big two. You know, they have Anthony Miller and Allen Robinson highlighting that receiving core, but Darnell Mooney's really quickly earning his way up that depth chart. Coach Matt Nagy saying he has a lot of faith in him. And while they do have offensive struggles, they're going to continue to turn to those that can score, that can make big plays. Darnell Mooney, barely owned in any sleeper or Yahoo fantasy leagues right now, under 10%, worth the speculation pickup, and you are going to look like a genius. Our fantasy duds for this week, we're actually going to have to go to Chicago. Allen Robinson, again, of the Chicago Bears. Very similarly how Darnell Mooney is moving up in that reception chart. Allen Robinson's on the other end, trending down. Not because of the lack of talent, but the offensive scheme right now with Nick Foles isn't really meant for Allen Robinson. We saw that they were trying to force a lot of deep throws to him. As a result, a lot of picks. And more importantly, Allen Robinson isn't getting the red zone receptions that a lot of other wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2s should be getting. Allen Robinson obviously should still be on your roster, but expectations should be held back. Our other fantasy dud on the running back side, a lot of people are very excited for Carlos Hyde. However, Carlos Hyde, huge fantasy dud this week. Yes, Chris Carson's probably not going to be playing this weekend, and Carlos Hyde did come in for a strong relief against the Cardinals. However, this week, a couple things against him. He is also questionable. While he might be a healthy player, there's not a lot of evidence to suggest that he can remain healthy for that full game. And with other running backs already currently playing that third down situation, Carlos Hyde is very independent from the rest of the high-powered offense and needs touches in the red zone. Against a strong rushing defense, that's not going to happen this week. Carlos Hyde, Seattle Seahawks, our fantasy dud. And last but not least, what is going to be the credentials for a fantasy Week 8 MVP? What we here at Sport AI like to measure for our fantasy MVPs is someone with a combination of currently existing skill, but also someone that will help you elevate in a tight situation, in a one-on-one matchup, and make the difference between winning or losing your league. And for us, that player Mike Evans of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Couple things for Mike Evans. He's trending on our analytics to have over 7 more points projected in PPR leagues than he is currently set to by most people, including the Yahoo Fantasy and Sleeper Fantasy leagues themselves. But also because, let's be real here, Tom Brady, still one of the best quarterbacks in the league. And more importantly, Chris Godwin out for this week with a finger injury. Mike Evans is going to be heavily targeted. AB may be coming into the picture. However, he's not used to the playbook and may not even play come week 8. So you have a lot of opportunities there for Mike Evans to be targeted. Another really important fact is when Chris Godwin is out, Mike Evans receives over 65% of all wide receiver targets and receptions so far this season with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, going against a terrible pass defense in the form of the New York Giants. His only concern is if he's one-on-one with James Bradbury. However, with Gronkowski and Scotty Miller on that field, Bradbury will be forced to be moved around the field and may not be on Mike Evans at all times. When those times happen, particularly in the red zone, Mike Evans, their big target in the red zone all year, expect a big game from him. And that's our week 8 fantasy MVP. Again, a quick summary on the week 8 of the NFL fantasy football season. Our sleepers, Daryl Mooney of the Chicago Bears and Jimmy Garoppolo of the San Francisco 49ers. Our duds, Allen Robinson of the Chicago Bears and Carlos Hyde of the Seattle Seahawks. And our week 8 fantasy football MVP, Mike Evans of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Again, it's Noah from Sport AI. If you want to learn more about how we're using artificial intelligence to forever change fantasy football and fantasy sports analytics in general, check out the description below as we are building a free mobile app that'll help you optimize your fantasy lineups, regardless of sport, regardless of score, in seconds. Again, if you're interested in becoming a beta tester, check out the link in the bio. It will be there. And again, Nati and DMVSportsZone do not pay us to come on here. We are gladly appearing every week because not only are we helping them win their fantasy leagues, but we want to continue to help you and thousands of others not only have the power of analytics and AI in your hands, but win fantasy football every single week. This is Noah Kim, signing off. Peace.